I just spent so long walking in circles around this building while whistling the Jurassic Park theme song because I did not know where to find the cassettes. And I'm like, we're starting the next episode with me knowing where the cassettes are because I need to know where they are and I don't know how to find them via the map. And lo and behold, yeah, they are at a kind of memorable location to the left of the old lady. But yeah, there's no, as you can see to the room to my left right now, there's just no icon at all about what that room is, which is annoying. That would have been helpful. Because yeah, I was here at the beginning of the game, and I think in hour 2, basically, it set me on the big cassette hunt, and I started unpacking the whole building. And then that entire part of the game never came up again. That's like a slightly... It's the thing I'm slightly iffy on about this game is that it has a lot of rooms that feel disposable and that we can just immediately discount forever. Which, I don't know. I don't have like a really specific criticism here. It's just that on some level, I just don't love that. Like, I guess because of escape rooms, I'm used to like density, like a bunch of stuff in each room. And this is probably in part a value of like, real-life escape rooms take place in real-life buildings that cost rent and have limited space, and you're trying to have X number of rooms in the building that you have, like separate playable rooms that run at the same time for different groups so you can make money. And so each individual escape room might be a single room, so obviously really dense with puzzles, and if it's really extravagant, might have 2 or 3 rooms. One of my favorite escape room places is called Enchambered. Like, I don't think it's in Sacramento, it's near Sacramento. And that place is crazy because it has like this like very like Disney level of like production value where you're like there's intense theming happening everywhere, and like the room shapes are interesting, and they'll use like RFID chips to let you kind of interact with stuff a bit more magically instead of just requiring you to constantly interact with everything via a code. Because otherwise everything has to be reduced to like, well, we have padlocks for everything, so every puzzle solution somehow has to teach you how to open a padlock in some way. But when you have RFID chips, you can be like, I put this tarot card here and it opens the door, and that's fun. And like, those places are very, they know, like, part of the pacing and structure of an escape room is that you spend like, at least like 10 minutes probably in the first room trying to figure stuff out, and then whoa, like the wall opens or something and there's a whole second room, and like that adds pacing and like a emotional arc, like a rising action to this. Like there's a narrative aspect to the unveiling of new rooms, and so I think that the fewer rooms you have, the more weight there is to those rooms and how interesting it can be as a result. And in one case, we were like in a really tough room that we played there. One of the only times I've ever failed to finish an escape room, because we almost always succeed with a significant margin across multiple groups. To the point where I can't tell if the stated averages or difficulty levels are accurate or not, because I've never been in a group that struggles with escape rooms the way that they always say you do. I don't know if there's a bunch of like non-escape room fan normies or whatever that like, I don't know if the average group really does struggle, maybe, like if they just aren't ready for puzzles, because I've only ever played escape rooms with people that are like ready for them, I guess. So my difficulty curve's all off. But anyway, this one really difficult room we were in, we had like a few minutes left, and we thought that we were solving the final puzzle, and we were really excited. And the puzzle we solved opened a fucking new room. There was a whole extra room. We were like, oh, we're fucked. What a reveal. Like, it's sad we didn't finish the room, but also that's an intensely memorable thing, which is why I'm telling a story about it. So, when I think about this, I think back to this cassette puzzle from earlier on. Like, this is a worthwhile mystery, which is that this is memorable that you're given a bunch of empty cassettes, and you're like, well, what are the videos, though? Can I watch them? And you don't know if it's going to come up later or not. You're kind of, like, wondering if as you explore, you'll find these cassettes. And we do now have 2 cassettes. I don't know if I don't think there are any of those cassettes, but that at least effectively puts this location in your brain as a place to remember for later. Even so, and I did remember it for later. I just didn't remember where it was, but I remembered it at least. So I knew, oh, we gotta go back to the TV. You got a cassette. My issue is that in the process of solving this puzzle, we had a bunch of posters throughout the world, and those posters were memorable, and they were also essentially the current boundaries of the map, because we had so little access to the world around us at that point in the story that those posters were ever present, because there was a poster next to every locked door, basically. Like, that was back when this game was very small. An issue I have is that the rooms that those posters opened, this puzzle that we did early on, that was our first mansion-spanning puzzle, all of those rooms had one note in them and one safe. So you read the note and you opened the safe, and it was a puzzle each time, and it was the 5 brother letters. To critique this game as an escape room, which I think is a fair assessment of what it's kind of doing, those puzzles were kind of lame, because it was just a letter in a room, then you go solve the thing in the same room with the puzzle on the letter. Like, that approach is equivalent to the first escape room I ever did, which is also the worst one I've ever done, probably. Actually, I might have done a worse one since then, but it was one that a friend of ours found on Groupon, and we're like, what's an escape room? Let's try that out. And I just was invited there, and we just went along, and it was a room that had a table in the middle and a bunch of clutter, like bookshelves and chests and whatnot. And functionally what happened is we just searched the entire room, found all the puzzle elements, put them all on the table, and then we just stood around the table solving the room, because we had physically grabbed all of the puzzles and put them on the table. And at that point it's like, okay, we're just doing kids' meal puzzles, like how if you go to certain restaurants, especially back in the day, maybe more so than now, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I have no idea how common this is, because I don't have kids. You get a little play mat and like a crayon, and you can like draw on the mat, and there's like a word search and like a riddle and like a coloring book. Like there's like little things to interact with while you're eating. It's like a distraction device essentially, and like, or like the equivalent of like puzzles on a cereal box or something. Like, it's very, if your escape room can be reduced to just being a piece of paper on your table that you solve the puzzle on, and then that's the answer, that's just always a bit disappointing. It's good to have room-centric things, and also you want to have puzzles that reward you for observing something and then applying that solution elsewhere and making observations about the environment, even to the point where you start overthinking it, you start jumping at ghosts, and you start imagining puzzle elements where there aren't there. Like, that's the headspace you want to be in. You do not want to be solving a kids' meal menu and so on. Like, one of the other worst ones I've ever been to was I drove all the way to San Francisco with Andrew to do the Zelda escape room that they were doing, which is a moving escape room. Like, as in, it's a traveling one that they put place to place. And that was terrible, because they had, like, 10 groups simultaneously in the same room, and everyone was sitting at a different table, and you really were just solving like kids meal menus. It's just that when you got to certain stages of the process, you would then go to like a particular area of the room and do like a little carnival game, like throwing bean bags at pots to break them, because you break pots in Zelda, haha, and you would do like a mini game here and there around the room that had like a host that would do it, like a carnival game for you. And then you go back to your table and go back to solving the paper. You're like, this is stupid. That's not what an escape room is. You guys lied to me. This is false advertising. You've been calling this an escape room. So on that level, I have mixed feelings about how wasteful the environment has been in this game. This isn't super tied to the cassette room that we're in right now. It's just me extrapolating. Like, I'm kind of reviewing the game a little bit here. There are spaces that are intriguing and interesting and so on. Like the library being a place that you access from multiple directions and having limited ways to getting around, and you apply information from elsewhere to know what book to grab, kind of stuff. But then there's rooms like those rooms with the brother letters, where you just walk in the room, you solve the repetition is also kind of harming it, where you solve the movie poster puzzle to get into the room, then inside the room you get a letter from one of the brothers, and then that opens the safe that's right next to it. And that's all that's in that room. then you never go back to that room again. And they did that like 5 times. And then more recently, you have the Lorelei Vice exhibitions where you get a key from inside the red maze, and then you take that key to the correct door that has the matching year number on it, and then you solve a perspective puzzle by Lorelei Vice that is based on the number that uses the number that was the year. And then you take that to the puzzle box room to open another puzzle box. That entire process from front to back is so consistent that I find it disappointing in terms of any kind of Metroidvania or puzzle box or escape room and so on. Like, there's an element of novelty you hope for. Like, generally speaking, when you're playing the games, the Room series, which I've also covered the entirety of and will keep an eye on in the future because those are fun, you don't generally... Like, the point of puzzles is usually novelty, so you're always trying to give people new things to do, and so once they prove they can do a certain thing, you then pivot to something else, because repeating that idea is usually kind of pointless unless you're very specifically doing a Talos Principle / Portal style puzzle game where you're iterating on that puzzle idea because you're using every piece of it. Like, okay, now that you understand that idea, what if I give you this contradiction? And then you walk in the room, you're like, hang on a minute, this room's impossible. How do I solve this? And you're like, hang on, but what if I do this? It's like you have the aha moment of where you are proposed with a contradiction, and then you realize, wait, no, it's not a contradiction. I can do this. And then you solve the room that looked impossible a second ago. But that's a different kind of puzzle. So, like, I think that they misapplied repetition in this game. I think this game's really cool by and large, but I think it really drops the ball a little bit with first how it does the movie posters and brother letter rooms, and then later on how it does the quiz club question to red maze to open the door to Lorelei exhibition to Lorelei puzzle box chain. Where even then, all of the answers from the puzzle boxes are then given to the old lady to get the code we have, which itself is going to be used at some point in the future. Like, that is a very long, like, 8-step process that is the same process every time, 9 times in a row. Like, maybe you could have scattered them throughout the entire playthrough because you can play this game non-linearly. And it's not entirely wrong to have a coherent grammar to the puzzle so you know what you're dealing with, because that's the Metroidvania element. Is like you recognize an element and be like, oh, that's the gate. I can turn into my mist form to go through that. But if you're solving the entire process and the act of solving it is do these 8 steps in a row, that's not super interesting. There are elements that are interesting, like realizing that the locked door that you just got the key for is itself, like, you either will find the locked door first and then be like, hey, well, I don't know where to get this key. Although once you see the pattern, you're like, oh, I get all the keys from the red maze apparently, so it's very consistent. Or you'll find the opposite, which is that you get the red key, you'll get the red maze key, and then you're like, well, how do I get to that room? Because earlier on, the map is still locked up and not open yet, and you don't know what will cause those to open. That's the most interesting part of this entire dynamic, is when you are like, I have the key to that door, but I don't know how to get to that room still, because what's in my way? But once you get there, it's a relatively simple puzzle, and yeah, like I don't think that solving any of the rooms was particularly complex, and I don't think that solving any of the which word is the keyword puzzles was complex either. So those are kind of just disappointing. And importantly, much like the brother rooms, those art exhibition rooms are just dead rooms the moment you finish those puzzles. Like, as far as I can tell, there's not reasons to go back to them. And I think that an important thing to highlight about escape rooms is that when you open a new door or wall in a real escape room, you have not beaten the previous room, at least not in a good escape room. I've played like 2 that were weirdly linear, and those were disappointing. But by and large, you have not, in fact, defeated the previous room, so you've only increased the play space. because now stuff in the new area is going to interact with stuff in the old area, because there are clues in the old area that only apply to solutions in the new area and vice versa. Like, and you'll find information that lets you finally open things in the old area, and you might even not know which room will have the next door to the next room if there is a third room and stuff like that. Those are fun surprises. And yeah, so I think some of this stuff missed the mark a little bit there, if that's even what they were going for. Like, I don't know, maybe people liked solving rooms and being able to just cross them off, because admittedly, that's how a lot of Metroidvania stuff goes. But I think that's not entirely accurate either. If I think about it, Metroidvanias, yes, you kind of defeat rooms and proceed forward, and your goal is to complete the map as best you can and not have to go back. But like, while you are trying to expand the entire map and complete it, almost all of the areas you've been to before are candidates for where the missed paths might be, because any of them could have the secret passage that leads you somewhere else. So you end up going back and poring over old rooms in Metroidvanias anyway. So even in that genre, even comparing it to that genre, it's a little weird how much this game does just have rooms that are done as often as it does. Anyway, this was my podcast, I guess. Let's watch these VHSs. Magician video cassette. Given by a man after freeing him from his chains, the label reads 82-minute magnetic KLB electronics cassette, storing your memories. Magician audition is messily written with a red marker pen on the label. KLB Electronics is mostly known for their early computer work, but also an early producer of magnetic tapes for storing data. If the content of this cassette is what the label claims, it could be one of the few pieces of lost media of the third eye that would as such be in very high demand in the underground video collecting community. I'm too late. I get it though. It's a sequence. Yeah. Gonna have to write a lot of L's and R's real quick. That was a long password. Oh fuck, it's restarting. No, I'm not ready. Here, I can take control over this. I can take control over my life. Okay, let's use the bug report page. I don't think I'm going to get any more of those, so I can use the blank space of that one. Did I misclick? I misclicked, didn't I? Hang on a minute. Wait, no. Eject the tape. Not that one. I have to click on the old one for the pen is in my mouth. Fucking do it. Alright. Right. Left. 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 Right. 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 Left. 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 10 digits, alright. Magician. We'll create a second table for artist. I'll be ready this time, if it is something that I can clearly denote as being a password. What does this one say? Storing your memories, artist edition. Let's see. The artist audition cassette is said to have been used as evidence in case 630113RN and as a rare remainder of the Third Eye project. If the content's not fabricated, it could be sold for as high as $500,000 American dollars on the black market. I'm so amused by how much this game says American dollars. It always specifies American dollars. I'm just not used to as an American, I'm obviously just not used to the specification of American dollars, because we just call them dollars here, obviously. But this game is seemingly in Germany or something, or maybe Sweden. But definitely the developers are Swedish. And so there's a big mishmash of cultures here, to the point where I need to trace back and just wonder, like, if the creator of the mansion was American, or the owner of the mansion, or one of them at some point. At the very least, we know that Nero was known for having a bag of American dollars in his big gamble, because it was American dollars. American dollars funded a major part of the story at one point, because it was Hollywood, right? So there's American dollars are burned into the DNA of this place. Like, there's an element of there, and it'd be interesting to unpack what's going on there. I don't know if they're going for like an imperialist element there, with like the way that like American industry infiltrates other countries and has the effect that it has on them, which like everywhere from like Japan to Ireland, just all over the place. Like there's everyone has a different relationship with America. I kicked the thing, and then then it got worse. Oh, fuck. No, there's more falling over. Ugh. Son of a fucking bitch. Sucks. No. I'm over. Okay. That was stupid. So for context, I have an IKEA shelf that's like ladder shaped. So it's a bunch of small shelves but it goes really tall. And it's slightly diagonal. Not the shelves, the shape of the overall structure. I have so I kicked the cable of my phone that's charging right in front of me on my desk. And then that pulled on the surge bar that's over on the counter. And it slid off of the counter. And it was being suspended by all of the cables that are plugged into it at the same time. And then that pulled down, as I was trying to pick it back up, that made several other devices fall over. And so just everything kept taking turns falling over, and the tensile strength or whatever the fuck of all the cords kept pulling everything else down every time I put anything else back up, and I was just losing my fucking mind, and everything kept sliding back down. So, good example of why you're supposed to use those little like screw holes that are on the bottoms of surge bars to actually fasten them to things so they don't just move around, because everything just kept going. What a pain in the ass. Stuff isn't largely even back where it should be. I just got it to stop, at least for now, so I can move on with my life. So you're not gonna believe this, but I don't remember what I was doing a minute ago, so it's fine. But oh yeah, like we're all familiar with American culture permeating Japan and stuff like that, and like other elements, or maybe we're not all. I don't know. Fucking, I'm just assuming things about you, and like that comes up a lot in other cultures. And then like the leftist cooks made a pretty good video recently that in part talks about how American capitalism transforms Ireland and the effects that has and stuff. And that's all very interesting to look at, but also slightly upsetting. I mean, I don't feel guilty because I'm like, I didn't fucking do anything. I'm just here, just a guy. But it's just interesting to see, like, oh, this is the number of ways that our country affects other cultures and stuff like that. And it's upsetting because some of it is, like, more insidious than just being like, oh, it's just capitalism and the free market or whatever. Or like, I don't know, it's a popular idea, so it just gets out there. It's like, no. Sometimes our government does, like, actually kind of, like, forcefully expand our culture into other countries because that there is a benefit to that, and it's more intentional. It's not just like, wow, we made a movie that's really popular and now it's everywhere. Crazy, right? Like akin to, like, I don't know, Pokemon or something being popular over here. Sometimes we're just like, no, we have a vested interest in making sure that this very specific fast food restaurant spreads everywhere and starts taking over local businesses and things. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's look at this artist tape, and I'll try to be ready to write down anything that comes out and not knock everything in my room over this time. Yep. Left, right, left. Right. 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 Left. Left. Right. Right. Okay. And for all we know, there might be 4 different tapes for 4 different people, since there's 4 characters in the story. That seems to be the pattern, as there's often 4 overall. Yeah, I feel a bit vindicated or something in that I was just talking about the repetition that's kind of built in here, and then I just got 2 tapes and they both have the same data. They gave me different combinations of left and right, but they were just left, right, like 10 times in a row. Same visual language, same person just nodding back and forth, no new thing to interpret. Let's see. Just kind of thinking about what to do next now. At this point, things are a little scary because the place is huge and very open. God, I've been in every room now in the entire place. Like, there's no locked places. There just are 2 locked doors I haven't solved yet. I could take another look at those, go back to the cafe, and see if I can find out how to solve that puzzle. But it's not an emergency, because ultimately I have access to both sides of the room. They're just optional shortcuts. But it does nag at me that I have thing I didn't solve. We're singing in this room. So what was puzzle 8? It's been a bit. Yep, it's this one. 3-digit thing minus 3-digit thing plus other 3-digit thing equals some number between 1 and 100. Let's see. I was going to try to use the fact that the number must be between 1 and 100 to solve it, but it doesn't really matter because thing minus thing isn't very relevant when the hundreds digit in both of the 3-digit numbers in the bottom of the screen are the same square, so it could be any number and it would self-nullify, so not much in ways of data. Maybe you can process eliminate it from being any of the other numbers that are already on the screen? Alright, so let's start writing some stuff down. So we have... This is my new space. I'm using this now. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a 1. There's a 0. There's an 8. There's a 9. There's a 6. 0, 1. 986. Okay, so 234 57. Okay. So operating with the logic that a repeating symbol refers to the same number, I'm also operating with the idea that every symbol does not share numbers with the other symbols, and thus also does not share numbers with the other numbers on the grid. That's a bit of an assumption, but it could be actionable. Somewhat frustratingly, there's only 2 symbols at play. Just diamond and square. We have 5 remaining numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So... Ugh. It's also interesting to unpack that the math on the bottom of the screen is self-nullifying. I pointed out a minute ago that the hundredths place is subtracted from itself, so the hundredths place is irrelevant. But then the part that's being subtracted is square, diamond, square, but then we're adding diamond, square. So, adding diamond, square in step 3, I guess it's technically step 2, but the third variable, adding the third variable to the subtracted second variable nullifies those 2 digits. So the answer is square diamond. The answer is whatever square diamond means. I don't know what they are. But ultimately, at least we can now ignore, let's see. Just gonna draw square and diamond. The square diamond is my answer. If I can figure out what square and diamond are. So that's some interesting progress. I've put some stuff together. Kind of. The problem is, what does the grid mean? Why is this grid of numbers here in the way that it is? What does this order mean? Is there a logic to each row and column? How is there a 0001? Like, it's tough to figure out what the logic behind the grid is. Okay, so nothing's made sense so far. I think what stands out to me is that 0001 is really weird. There's no pattern that would lead to that. So I don't think it's about individual digits, because 0 3 times in a row, like that's a pattern. It wouldn't manifest 1 out of nowhere. But where 1 does manifest in math, in numbers, is carrying over the digit when you roll over. So if the stuff on the right is being added up and it breaks 10, it'll add a 1 to the left digit. So it could be a math equation. So I guess that means that each row is being added up in some way. How do you know it's being added if you can't see anything? Like 9 with, if you add anything to 9 in the third row, basically at all, then you will get something in the teens, which would put 1 in the third row, in the third column, fourth row. But then it has 9 below that, so it's the same thing, so it added 10. So it's not adding the digit above it, because 9 plus 9 is 18. So it'd be 1-8, but it's 1-9. Except the number on the side was 6. So if you added enough to the 6 to break 10, then that would make the 18 a 19, which would be why it says 1-9, and it's 9 again. So that could be it too. If that's the case, what stands out to me is that 9 plus 9 becoming... If you get 9 plus 9 being 18, that's doubling 9. Doubling, The left column's interesting because it's uncorrupted by whatever's happening elsewhere. We can safely assume nothing's being carried over in addition, because the third column is 0001, so it's just not getting there, as far as we can tell, unless it's getting, yeah. Because if it's addition, no amount of number could be added to the second column to make the third column overflow all the way over to being 0 again. That's just not how this is processed. So it'd be added elsewhere. So the left column is 1 something something 8, and it's doing that of its own accord. And that's interesting because 8 is what happens if you double 1 3 times. It'd be 1, 2, 4, 8. 1 times double 1 is 2, double 2 is 4, double 4 is 8. That might be the clue. Especially since that might just give us the answer, 1, 2, 4, 8. That would mean 2 is the diamond and 4 is the square. I guess let me write those out and we'll just see what it looks like. So it'd be 1, 0, 2, 4, 2, 0, 4, 8, 4, 0, 9, 6, and then 8, 1, 9, 2. Alright, that's a good start, because 1024 times 2 is 2048. That's straightforward without having to even carry anything over. Same thing goes for the next one. 2048 times 2 is 496. And then it stands to reason that, yeah, 6 times 2 would be 12, so the right digit would be 2, which is correct. And then, as we said before, 9 times 2 is 18, but it says 19 down there, and that's because you get +1 from the 12. And then the 8 is straightforward at that point, because that's matching up with everything else. Okay, so... But the answer at the bottom is square diamond, so it's 48. Because the digits are swapped. Don't know if saying they're swapped really makes sense, because they're all just free-floating to begin with. Nope. Did I get them backwards on that? Not 24. Did I miss 48? 50, 49, 48. Yuck. Okay, I thought I got it right. Maybe my assumptions about the math down at the bottom were wrong somehow. Let's see. So 4, 4, 2 minus 4, 2, 4. Four, 4, 2 minus 4, 2, 4 should be, so the 30s are complete. So 30, not 30, there's not the answer. But that's a full 10 right there. There's the 2 from 42 and the 6 from 24. So it's 18. 18 plus 24 equals 24 plus 8 is 3242. So I just solved that and got 42. Oh, why did I say... Sorry, why did I say 48? I just started putting 48 in it when my two digits are 4 and 2. I don't know how I fucked that up. Anyway, just resolved the thing that I already... So I did... All my math was correct. I don't know how 48 got in my brain and became the thing I was typing in, where I did 48 and 84. That made zero sense. And somebody was like, anyone paying closer attention heard that number just swap in and was like, what the fuck just happened? Listen, having an audience is hell sometimes because they see every single moment where you have any inconsistency. I think everyone's like this to some extent. It's just nobody has a camera following them around to make them aware of every single fuck up they have. It's quite the experience self-narrating your life while also recording it, while also putting it there for posterity, and then also people can comment on it, so even if you didn't notice it in the moment, people can then also point out the things. I feel really stupid all the time, which is kind of a problem when I want to then make video essays and have zero confidence in myself. Although maybe that helps me make better video essays because I'm terrified that literally every single thing I say is wrong or can be interpreted differently and I have to like triple write everything. Okay, so that's... There's one shortcut remaining on the top left. And there is the recurring issue, which is that I don't know what side it's openable from. We'll just try it. Nope, bolts from the other side. That means you have to get there via the staircase. That's downstairs. Wait, floor 3 staircase. Oh, that's the one that goes higher. It's most easily accessible via the elevator, or since I'm already on this floor, I just gotta loop all the way around. We might as well just fixate on these and try to get them done, because then it's just one less puzzle for me to worry about. Because they're completely optional. But I'm here to do a playthrough, motherfucker. I'm the Doomslayer, but for lame cereal box puzzles. Alright, puzzle 5. I think this is the last one I haven't done. And I don't remember what it was, and... okay, yeah, it's another number sequence. Uh-huh. Okay. Same problem as last time. Time to just stare at it for a while until I can have any idea what the rule might be. Okay, so the individual numbers make no sense. 14916 plus 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 5. The individual strings, once again, don't matter. Especially at the end when it's 1100. 1491. If they are groups of numbers, it's probably not consistent. I mean, this is even assuming that the black box contains a standalone string that we're supposed to guess and isn't like partially from two different answers or something. But if it is standalone, which seems reasonable, then it's weird that there's 5 digits before it. That indicates that those 5 digits aren't all pairs. Could be 2 and 3. 14916, 14916. Those are so far off from each other. 14916. There's a clear ramping to that. 1, 4, 9, 16, something, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. Those are all in a row. They're like, they're escalating numbers. Jumps really heavily from, I guess, 48 to 81. Let's see. 4 has a square root of 2. 9 has a square root of 3. 16 has a square root of 4. Okay. 5 has... So 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, yeah. It's 1 through 10 squared is this string. So the answer is 25. Ah, okay. These puzzles are funny because on some level I'm like, it's not fair, I have to make such a big leap to solve that. But like all the ones that I did solve instantly were also a leap. It's just I did them with my brain just did that on its own. It's not that different between the ones that I succeeded at and the ones that I fail at. So the room where the woman jumped out the window and died is the opposite mirror of the room where he was still hanging out, writing his scripts. And he himself was also dead. So they stayed opposite from each other in the same mansion, just looking up at those rooms. I think I want to check that out. She's over here on the right, and that'll take me back to the maze, which I was thinking about earlier. In particular, when we're in the maze, we're in a glitchy video game setting, where we are breaking it by taking the tablets away. Am I still in the middle? And we have 9 crash reports. I think I'm just gonna have to open a browser here. Greek symbols, gamma, omega, phi. Just kind of typing a bunch of stuff in so I can then get the image result, hopefully, that will show me what I need here. Because this is like information you can have outside the game. I don't know if they're explained in the game anywhere, but I can make do. Let's see, what am I looking at? So the upside down L is gamma. I was right that the middle symbol is omega. The bottom one is psi. So if I'm right and these are the crash reports, then I would expect one of them to be from each. That'd be helpful. That'd make them all important for the puzzle. So L is gamma. That's in crash report 1. Omega is in crash report 2. Psi is in crash report 3. That makes sense. Okay. Still don't know how to solve this. Let's see. Oh. It has letters. Here I was like, how do I translate these numbers into letters back into numbers for this 0 through 9 puzzle? Looking at all the crash codes, we have E, C, B, C, A, C, F, E, B. So they're all early in the alphabet. They might be hexadecimal. I think that's A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. Yeah, those... I'm mainly familiar with hex, not because I can actually calculate it at all. I get confused trying to... I never got used to using... any numbering system that isn't just our normal base 10 system, and technically I can figure out like binary without much trouble, but once you get to like hexadecimal I get really thrown off. It's like, what, base 16, right? Because it has the digits 0 through F, and I don't know. It would take me a bit and some paper to figure out what I'm looking at with that stuff. Anyway, so I'm primarily familiar with the fact that it stops at F because I think in art software, all hashtag 6Fs is white, I think. So that's where I encounter hexadecimal, is it's just the code that I copy paste from thing to thing whenever I'm doing art stuff, like when I'm making thumbnails. So gamma, the password is E35. Omega 8CO. And for recap, this is the information we got from breaking the various video games. They gave me error codes. And apparently only one error code from each one was mandatory. But we got all of them because it was fun. And this is psi. So F96. I just mashed a little too hard there. A little mashed a little close to the sun. Ta-da! It's always good to have a confirm button when you're entering a combination. Some games will just automatically succeed you the moment you reach the correct number, but that invariably means that the last digit, you could just spin it and it would immediately reward you without you having to even check. Okay. What? Huh. So at the middle of the maze is another headstone, and this headstone has the cardinal directions. North, west, east, south, southwest, northwest, northeast, south. Yeah, everything's normal. Oh, and something goes in the middle. The crucifix key? Because it's a grave? What have I not used yet? Car key. Ha ha ha. Dead woman's key, even though that was the top right door. These are all the rooms that we already know. The C-shaped key was the cafe. I used the 3 key before, right? Yeah. The eye? Didn't think so, it's too small. It's like a small diamond-shaped spot. The diamond key? I can't... It's been bothering me for a while, but I just don't remember using all 4 of the keys. That makes me feel crazy, but I probably just forgot, because I'm juggling so many different threads. I just forgot if I used all of the keys, so I think I just don't know what goes in here. Oh, it's the maze. This isn't a combination, this is a map. Okay, so the one with the spiral goes in the top right. That's the easiest one to remember. Yep. And all these are pretty easy to identify because they literally just are, like, there's the whole part of looking at the corners of a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. Like, oh, well, this one doesn't feature walls. Or this one doesn't penetrate the walls, it has solid walls. Alright, I have more down here. There we go. Okay, so let's look for top wall. Right, top wall is an exception a bit because it does have an entrance. Bottom wall I see down here. Finally getting some inventory space back. Left wall. Right wall. That one deceptively almost looks like it's the top right corner. But it has one little divot that breaks the rule. And also the top right corner is pretty memorable for having a spiral. And being largely a dead end. Here's the middle. So maybe now I'll be able to find the Minotaur in the maze? I'm in danger! Oh, this game is so pretty. I have a lot of fun with reduced color art styles. Like grayscale with one color, or an art style that uses 3 colors total and has to stretch those around. I'd like to learn how to draw like that more often, like how to plan it out well. But I also don't want to go to art school. Aww. The dilemma of just draw, never learn. You have gone deep below. The truth will begin to surface from here. Have you met with the Minotaur in the hallways of wisdom? His stone brother resides ahead. He holds a message for his brother. Bring him right and left from the remains of those we lost. Huh. Bring him right and left from the remains of those we lost. So, the Minotaur will give me what I need for the Mausoleum puzzle? Is what I'm getting from that? Just to the left and right of the Mausoleum are the 3 graves that I need to touch in the right order with some object I don't have yet. Only then will his message manifest itself. I can imagine his stone brother is the one that's actually made of stone. Because this is a digital Minotaur, but there's a real Minotaur probably in the Mausoleum. And I'm gonna marry him. I mean, there's chests around here. How do I get to these? Okay, there's definitely periodically little thing on floor, what looks like a... Okay. This is a different kind of puzzle. I wonder if all of the buttons are joined throughout the maze, and I can now like go around, go down there, and then in the next room I can press a button to switch it back, because this is the one that has a chest. So it needs to be here for you to get the chest, but I presume there's a reason to do this, because puzzles are generally economical, and if there's a variation, you use it at some point. Otherwise it would be just noise. Okay, it did not switch the buttons over there. Or here. Okay. These puzzles are troubling so far because, yeah, you can't... They move objects that you can't be on. And they're so far moving from place to place, so it's not like they're making a bridge. They're just going back and forth like they to ferry something, but I can't press the buttons from here. Or I can't press the buttons and be on at the same time, and there's no other agents at play, so what's the purpose of moving the platforms? Something is up. Okay. You're completely locked in place and cannot move at all while it's moving. This one, let's move it to the side. Okay, that's interesting. So if there's multiple axes of interacting with the item, then that means that I get to move it down and left, which means now it will bridge the gap. Okay. So it seems like these only affect the room you're currently in, and no other places, but now I've created a bridge. So now if this other stuff moves around in this room, I can still get around via that room. And similarly, I can now go around via here to down here. Okay, so this is where we were originally teased that there's more to the underground. Because I came down those stairs and then I could see over here. But then we had no way of getting here. Mural. 9 fragments unite in the third eye as... Enneahedron. Enneahedron. Large hedron. These nuts. The 9 fragments. Wonder where stuff like this comes up. There's just one, like that's the first button I saw, but I don't know what it interacts with. There's no second button in this room as far as I can tell. Oh, goodness. They rotate-y. Ah. Oh, I'm here now. Well, that's easy to access. Oh, yeah, it's right in front of me. It's $1. Okay, so the chests are kind of pointless. They're dollars. I mean, that's usually what they are. Okay, so I distinctly can't dodge around buttons. Yep. So basically we want it to be... We want the puzzle to be lengthwise. Because then I want to step on the side button. My goal is to go up. But when I try to go up, I step on this and it becomes horizontal. So my goal is for it to be lengthwise, so that when I do walk onto here, I'll step on the button and it'll become vertical. Or not. I don't know if it can be lit up when it's vertical. Okay, right now it's... That's interesting. So it was vertical there, and it wasn't lit up. Okay, here we go. I was about to say that they logically probably want me to like leave this room by going around the entire surrounding maze and looping back around, since that's what happened before. And then I solved it right when I was about to give up and do that. What was worrying me about that is like what I didn't necessarily know what configuration to leave it in if I did do that. Okay, so that is now down. So now if I just call the other one back over, I can probably get the chest now. I don't think the chest is going to go back up. That's a Minotaur. How many statues are in the room with the Minotaur, I think the question was. Minotaur below red maze, how many statues? 2. Oops. Managed to make that 2 look a little too much like a 3. That would have been embarrassing. There's an intrusion in the forehead of the statue. The right eye. Does it have to be this one? The one that's on my right? Even though it's there, it would be their left eye. That's dumb. From their perspective, it's I'm on the wrong side. It doesn't matter. Ew! Okay, so this is where the eyes go. Only a small portion of the inscription is legible. Truth of the Minotaur, deeper, below. Eyes of the dead, red tears. Alright, so I need to get the left eye to do the other side. Staircase that leads where? Back to the beginning. Okay. So there's our shortcut. But I gotta finish getting all the dollars. I imagine that I won't have like 100% completion of the dollars by the end of this game, but I mean, there's ones that are just right in front of me I should probably go get. I will have to solve this room again now. I guess not, I don't have to come back. I just will be tormented by the fact that that room... I kind of didn't solve it, I kind of just ran around a lot. And then I'm like, oh, I can do it now. I solved it. Chest. Whoa! This is the wrong room. I was thinking of the treasure room, which is down here. So I guess you just lock it back in place, and now I could just go back to the beginning of the puzzle and loop all the way around, and just get that room from that chest from behind. So it's not particularly deep. Like looking at what's in front of you, you'd be like, "How do I solve this room?" And it's like, eh. You just go through it, and then come back later, and then at that point, it's not even a puzzle anymore. That's most of them. I think there was one more chest, but it was like across a gap somewhere that I don't think I'd have the other side of. If I can even get back. We're at 90.4. I did ultimately end up behind by like an hour compared to my nice tight rate of making it forward at like a rate of 5% per hour. There we go. Yeah, this is the one I can't do yet. There's a staircase and an arrow. That staircase goes to somewhere. Don't know where that is. Did I go up here already? Yeah, because that's where the Minotaur was. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't currently have information on how this mysterious other staircase is connected to anything. Man of the Maze, guardian of past scripts. Every single stone ahead with a glass sibling within a mirror. A brother leaves, a sister shatters, each a key to the past. A glass sibling in the mirror. They're saying that every chest that's up here has a matching spot in the other maze, which is where the mirrors are, with the women in them that give me keys. They're keys to the past because they're rooms that are based on years. Only small portions legible. Man of the Maze, guardian of past scripts. Whereas that one tells me the other maze is full of men that give you our quiz trivia, boys. So, alright, we got one less thing in my inventory. We finally got rid of all the maze pieces. Stuck with these computer disks and cartridges, though. So somewhere I put in a bunch of left and rights for these two cassettes. There's probably two more cassettes somewhere else. The Minotaur did not give me the tool I need to actually solve the headstones. I didn't get an item. So I still can't interact with the headstone puzzle. But I imagine that's because I need to find the second eye. Which makes me think that's a very late game puzzle. I say very late game, but like, we're pretty late in the game, we're at 90%. But I just mean like it's around now, basically. It's like I reasonably could find the eye probably at some point. Could be at the center of the other maze. It's worth checking if I can get any deeper. At the very least, I can now solve the Minotaur question, because I've been there. And I'm all the way in the north again. Yeah, because last time I went back trying to find the guy that asks the question about the puzzle book man's birthday. And now I gotta go all the way back down. It's fine. But yeah, he was a bit of a fragment. I had already been on both sides of him, so I could have skipped him entirely, but I wanted the satisfaction of answering the question. But then I both don't have a good idea of where he is and don't have a good idea of how to get back. I have a vague idea of the maze's shape and where I kind of am in it, but it's hard to be precise with how zoomed in the camera angle is on all these portraits. And I'm currently trying to swoop around to the bottom and side. So you always go counterclockwise around the maze. You go left, then down, then right. Until you get to like the bottom right corner. So hopefully I'll find a local exit and use that one from now on. And not go all the way back out, like that one. So there should be a guy right here. Nope, solved that one. Which makes sense because this is the last one I wrote down, so I probably wrote it down a layer deeper into this process. I think it was the one on the right. Is the one Nope, I solved that one. Okay, so it's whatever one I see deeper nope, that's a dead end. Okay, so it's probably this guy. He's probably the one that asked about the Minotaur. And I was like, there's a Minotaur in this game? You have his number? How many statues stand by the Minotaur below the red maze? 2. Wow! Correct. And now I can cross out that one. We need, the 1st January... Sorry, the 1st Monday of January in 1849. And how many robes, rags, wagons, souls? Some kind of pilgrimage. How many people were on a pilgrimage in the story? I don't remember if I know that one already or not. Oh! Seems like the Minotaur was the last one you need to access the middle, which I guess makes sense because it was the Minotaur. Like, you can even see... Yeah, that's funny. It's the last question before you get to the middle of the maze, and the middle of the maze is itself the same middle of the same maze we just got to the middle of, so it's like... They're just basically just confirming you got to the middle of the red maze first before you got to the middle of the quiz maze. Because it's the same overall layout. Oh, he's not the last... He's not quite the last one, there's one guy... Wait, he's the Minotaur. He's the first one to face me instead of facing away. Maybe he even gives you the revolver or something? Man, you're not a Minotaur, you're just a guy in the mask. Alright. I'm gonna use this exit to save real quick for my own sanity before I fuck up and die or something. Because that was a long walk that I don't want to do again. You have done well to come this far. But only the Nascens Moulier knows the answer to our final questions. That's a word that I wrote really big diagonally and underlined at the beginning of this playthrough on my first page. I don't remember the context anymore, but it's been there. It's next to my my solution for the northwest east south puzzle that was on the wall that led to the tent, the fortune teller tent. Because I made it like that far in before I had to write anything down. It wasn't really a writing notes game at first, but it definitely has come up. From top to bottom, what did my underground brother say? What? From top to bottom. Is it a document that I have? Oh, these guys are in here. Let's see, I'm probably about to die. Okay. Oh, it's that. I thought you meant the Minotaur. I know this part. Yeah, it's the 3 Greek letters that were on the tablet. Yeah. I remember this without even checking. That's cool. I was like, what the... When I talk to the Minotaur statue, you want me to recite the entire thing, or is it going to be a list of options? And I'm like, well, all the other answers so far have been numbers, so how am I going to put that into numbers? I was just really confused what this is going to be. And you can only see the format of the answer after you've opted into dying. So I'm happy I just saved. That made me confident enough where I'm just like, fuck it. Let's just see what happens. And then I was fine. I guess I'll double check. Okay, so upon further inspection, he said my brother in the underground maze. Whereas that tablet is above the ground. So those Greek letters are not the answer. So we don't have the answer to the middle of this maze yet. It just felt so intuitive that I was like, oh, so that's what it is. I swear I don't know what this is, right? I don't think I do. A lot more stuff has begun to make sense, but we're at the last 10%. I need to figure out how to get to the revolver door and the orangerie. Orangerie? An orchard for oranges? Is that what it means, I assume? A place where they make oranges? 1847. Let me in. Let me in. Nope. So 16 digits on a normal number pad with no face buttons, but that's about it. It's not... It shouldn't be the left and rights that we had from the Magician and the Artist. I don't know where those go. There's somewhere where I go left and right a lot. A 16-digit string. $18.47. I'm looking at the 1847 and it has weird tiles behind it. For a second there, I was about to say something dumb. I was about to be like, maybe I just press 1 4 times, 8 4 times, 4 4 times, and 7 4 times. Haha. But, no. They're strokes. If you look at the 1, it goes from the top to the bottom in one clean stroke. But the top, you can say top to bottom because the top is thick and the bottom is thin, so it's trailing off the blood, the ink. It's running out. So the big dab is the beginning of each number, and then the rest is the remainder. Let's see. So that's 1 2 It's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it says 2, 0 is what the 1 is pointing at. Then 8 starts at 2, then goes 4, zigzags down to 9, then 0, then back up to 7, then over to 6, then back up to 2. Then 4 starts at 0, goes up to 2, then over to 4, then over to 6, and 7 starts at 1, goes over to 3, and ends on 0. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 digits. Yep. It was literally right here in front of me the whole time. That's the struggle, is trying to figure out whether or not it's a puzzle, if it's a clue from elsewhere around here. This 1847 has been a loose thing. And it was weird in its own right, because it's just 1847 again. Like, it already said 1847 over here next to the lady, which turned out to be, and I forgot this for a while, but that's the code I used to tell me what to make the key shaped like. And here the 1847 is a trick. The numbers don't matter. They're actually shapes. So that's clever. 2, 0, 2, 4, 9, 0, 7, 6, 2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 0. Whoa! Da 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 da. Forbidden fruit. Have you read a Bible? Me neither. It's getting weirder that he keeps showing up after I've seen him be dead, but it's also not him or something. A biblical reference. Good idea, Signorina. What you doing, buddy? The first entertainer in Eden was the snake. As such, it was actually God. It understood the need for action. And isn't that why you came here? You want action and violence. Go ahead, take it. Finally, it's a revolver. That somehow opens the revolver. What if I shoot the door? It'd be very funny. Now, let's play a real game. Oh my god, I have an entire interface. I have 3 shots, 1 health, whatever those pips are under my health. I've got a fucking radar? They gave me a radar. The fuck? Okay, I can't actually look around at all. It's just being wacky at me, I think. But the fact that it gives me an entire shooter game interface is very funny. It's a key. It's a fake out. It's a key that we use on the revolver door. This game's so fucking stupid. It's so clever stupid. I love this game for how stupid it is while being clever. It's like, every game should be like this. Like, it's one of my favorite things about Hideo Kojima is that his games are stupid. Like, they're some of the most densely literary games made, and they're stupid. The characters have stupid names, stupid things happen. This game, I went through a mirror. I went through a mirror into a weird hallway dimension maze, and the first thing someone says is that this is a place for reflection. And I'm like, yeah, I went through a mirror to get here. Get it? Waka waka. A revolver turned into a revolver key. Haha. That's brilliant, Signorina. How did you do that? You are a true magician. But then... where the hell did you hide the real gun? What? Whoa. I like that from our perspective, he's the guy that's putting us through a weird wild goose chase puzzle mansion. Like, he's the guy we meet at the beginning. He's seemingly the one sending us on the mission, but he always responds to us like we're doing this to him. And we're the clever mastermind behind everything. And he even might be right on some level. Especially if we're the same person. It's difficult to unpack everything on the first run. Okay, well, having the revolver door gives me a nice sense of direction. The funny thing is, I think I was so willing to, like, not solve this for so long was because it kind of felt like it might be the final location in the game, or one of them. It just seems really important. All these big veiny things going up to it, these cables throughout the horses, which are scattered throughout the entire mansion, just kind of felt final. It obviously was never going to be completely final because there was also always the... I was able to get the computer from here. "20 out of 20 shortcuts, 5 questions to go. One of them's probably the Minotaur, so there's still 4 more to solve back in previous areas. Where is the revolver door? Oh, it's in the loft. It was never going to be the final solution in the sequence because there's, of course, the the supercomputer in the basement. Seems to be like the final puzzle because it's so much emphasis on it. And it's also an even more significant looking location, which is that's down in a basement. We'll underestimate how important it can be just to, like, put things in locations and, like, have that layout itself, like, really signify the importance of places. Like the basement. The emblem on it depicts revolvers. I've unlocked the revolver door, which I also should inspect at some point. Was given by a man in the Orangerie as part of a questionable game. It looks like a real revolver, but it has a key construction sticking out of its muzzle. There's a genuine-looking bullet left in the cylinder. There are traces of dark powder on the grip frame, and on which the letters RN are engraved. Yep, Renzo Nero. Or Renate... What was her last name? It could be both of us. The design is a pre-war Italian model with the engraving... And the engraving... The design is a pre-war Italian model, and the engraving is likely a monogram. These facts indicate that this is, or is meant to look like, the infamous Cine revolver, which fatally injured an actor while filming Wilhelm Tell adaptation of Cine Terzo Studios. This grisly provenance, in addition to its involvement in the death at Hotel Letzes has made it a much sought-after item among connoisseurs in the black market. So it killed an actor in a movie, and then it also killed somebody in Hotel Letzes. So it's been used for 2 murders. And he was like, "Where'd you hide the real one then?" Which is interesting because he was dead in his room, like as if he got shot maybe, potentially. You wouldn't see that on a skeleton. And then she jumped out a window. So it could be a murder-suicide where she shot him and jumped out a window. Or it could be some other thing. Did you do? Right, I died, so these are marked as new again. Yeah, because one of these was signed by, attributed to Renate. So RN does not stand for her because it's Renate Schwarzwald, and he was Renzo Nero, unless they married, and she took his name. Yeah, science points to that the gun belongs to him because it literally has his name on it. Prop window, the one from the story. The glass is made of plastic. Is this the backstage of that stage performance we saw? The costumes? Ah. Maybe it is just these two combos then. All right. The manic. This is the magician. Right, left, 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 right, 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 left, left, left. And the head pops off. It is wise to look inside a head. His head is mine, and my head is yours. How else could a dead man write letters? Magic and money make miracles, and the dead walk again. They want me to look crazy, but I can assure you I am not. I have to write this, or they will hang us all for violating the aesthetic distance. Or perhaps give us an award for the best Befremdungseffekt. Befremdungseffekt of this year. I would like to thank Santa Lucia and Mammon for this award. It is incredible. I know we only came here for clues, but I have to play this part. So on the note of miracles, we must consider virgin births. We should all be entitled to them. We are all equal here. Fictional, alive, or dead. Hallelujah and happy birthday. The crux of this tomato soup is sadly that we are all born under bad signs. June 19th, 1798. September 20th, 1807. May 16th, 1924. August 10th, 1932. They're astrological signs. Alright. It'd probably be easiest to write this down just to be able to... Okay, so... June 19th, 1798. September 20th, 1807. May 18th, 1924. August 10th, 1932. I'm writing down the years even though they're not underlined, because if I go to input these as astrological signs and then they don't work, I will then be like, well, maybe you reorder them in the order of their years chronologically, and that's actually the order they're in. That seems feasible. Alright, so left, right, left, right, 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 left, left, right, right. Meow, 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 bro, 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 bro. I tried looking inside her head for the answer just like you, but I cannot trust her. A mess cloudier than the ocean. Her journal is locked. We only know that she died 116 years ago. I asked the moon for answers, but it gave me several dates. Okay. So the other ones were signs, but this one's not. Make a separate table called moons. May 18th. April 7th. November 12th. October 30th. January 10th. I've been filling up this notebook, and sometimes I joke, like, maybe I'll auction it off for a charity thing, for some charity stream. If somebody ever sees this notebook... Ah, scratch. Somebody ever sees this notebook, they're going to be so appalled by my handwriting. Ah. Ah, it's not better. Ah. Ah. Yeah, my handwriting was appalling all the way back in high school, and that's the last time I consistently wrote by hand. Pretty much typed in college, and I've obviously been typing at my cubicle job, and then the last 8 years of this being my job. So my handwriting is only more atrocious, but on top of that, I'm trying to write quickly so that I don't interrupt the video flow too much. So I'm writing really quickly and softly, while also writing in a handheld journal, so it's not even like a piece of paper on a flat desk that I'm sitting at an optimum angle for writing in, like you do in school. I'm just like sloppily like leaning back in a chair and just scribbling into a notebook. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck did I just write? So good luck any outsider. Perhaps time is so broken here that they could all be correct. Something terrible must be happening. Here it's like it's somewhat suggested here that Nero is writing every single document we ever read. Because most of these are very consistent. It's the same font on like typewritten paper. And here specifically it's most called attention to because the other document was handled more or less in first person, but this document is handled from his perspective too, despite being inside her head. So they're all placed by him as notes. Granted, there's hints that they could be the same person, but it's his persona that's insisting on being the source of all these notes, to the point where, for all I know, even all the letters from the supposed brothers might have all been from him, because the formatting has been so consistent. And we know that it's not like the game is like afraid to introduce other document types. Like here's some, these are different formats. They have some branding and stuff like that. I think that's a different, yeah, those are different fonts. This is Courier, and this is not Courier. I'd love to impress you by being able to name every font at a glance, but I just could tell it's different. Yeah, whereas these look like the same typewriting that every note around the mansion we find is. So we don't even know if these are unique notes. In fact, the fact that they're redacted the same way and certain things are highlighted the same way, as if to tell us, hey, that's the clue, makes them seem like diegetic clues. Oh, these are the last two notes. The entire note is full. Menu is full. There's a book somewhere I haven't found. Which, how early it is in the sequence makes me worried that I missed it or something. We already checked notes, letters are done. There's one more pattern and inscription. Probably from inside of the Mausoleum. Wow, and then one more book, and that's it. There are only 2 more things for this entire menu left in the game. We are close. So it's a little surprising we have almost 10% to go still. Alright, losers, I'm back. I had a cough drop. Let's solve the 2 puzzles that this place had the answer to, and with that, we've been to every room of the entire mansion? If the map can be believed. Which, you know, I don't fucking trust it. Let's do the one that's easier and has less ambiguity and might be closer, but I'm not really sure. Oh, hello. Yeah, you can't trust me. I'm lost. I remember that diagonal room. That means I'm over here. Yeah. That means I'm at the elevator. I need to go back to the ground floor and then upstairs into the library from the right side. You're not the library, you're one of those dead-end rooms I'm complaining about before. Alright, so this is the thingy. And this is a 5-digit thingy. I need to know what the 5 moon phases are. Lunar phases of 1847. Date number 1, May 18th. Should be pretty straightforward. May 18th is in between May 15th and May 21st. So we're going to draw a circle and draw a crescent on the right side and fill in the left side. There we go. April 17th. April 17th is after April 16th, so another crescent on the right. November 12th. Okay. Once again, a crescent on the right. October 30th. Okay, it's 50-50. I was like, something wrong? I'm reminded of taking, like, standardized tests in school, and if you get a string of the same answer in a row, you start to doubt yourself a little bit. Just get a little paranoid, like, hang on a minute. This is... Because, you know, if something's truly random... If something is truly random, it will introduce the appearance of patterns. God, I fucked up so bad drawing this. There we go. A crescent on the left. January 10th, right? Yeah. So. A crescent on the right. 3 times. Then white on the left, 50-50. And then a crescent on the left. Ruh-roh! Worth giving it another shot in case I just made a random mistake or something. Alright, let's just double check them all, I guess. May... Yeah, 18th. Crescent on the right. White crescent on the right. April 17th, white crescent on the right. November 12th. White crescent on the right. Uh-huh. October 30th. 50-50 white on the left. Uh-huh. January 10th. White crescent on the left. Uh-huh. Yup. May 18th, April 7th. It's my sloppy handwriting. I got fucked over by the L floating a little too far away from the rest of April. November 12th, October 30th, January. Yep. Handwriting fuck up. It's like I expertly set that up and paid it off or something with how timely that was. April 7th is a black crescent on the right. Also known as something you would never call a crescent. The opposite of a crescent, basically. God, these notes are terrible. They're so abysmal, but they just need to last the next few moments. White crescent. Black crescent. White crescent. White 50-50. White crescent. Ha 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 ha. Alright. Now I can't be held back by however I fucked up drawing the table anymore. It's over. It appears to be a journal. The pages are out of order. Oh. Tuesday. Sunday. Monday. Saturday. Thursday. Wednesday. Friday. So this must be the... This must be the combination tied to the symbols that are the days of the week. So I figure I'll read these in chronological order so that we get the story, but the puzzle solution is that I need to put them in this order. So might as well just write those down real quick. Tuesday. Sunday. Monday. Saturday. Thursday. Wednesday. Friday. Friday, I'm in love. Because there's the art exhibition that's just the symbols that are in this order. Don't know where that'll go. Probably go somewhere. Alright, so where's, let's see. What day is Sunday? Sunday is January 10th, which is after everything else? Okay, so Monday's first. Want to double check, because the days of the week aren't always in the same order. Over here, we start on Sunday for some reason. No one knows why. Like, even, like, logically and emotionally, my week start, like, I organize it as being Monday through Sunday. But every calendar starts on a Sunday. It's just, I don't know. Just what it is. Symmetry, I guess. It just looks neat. But it doesn't feel like how weeks work. Monday, January 4th, 1847. The winter sun came out today. It painted the garden in the most generous colors. I could see its beauty, but all details had been stripped. Mother Nature only deigns to show me drawings from her sketchbook. Soon I will not even see the outlines. Will I be even lonelier in the dark, I wonder? I spent the evening in my studio. What I paint now will soon be unseen, even by me. It's just very depressing. Yeah, she's an artist losing her sight. Tuesday. A knock on the door. The miracle has arrived. In his hand, a red rose, which he handed me. But I have seen the likes of him before. Treasure hunters and thieves. This one must be the sorriest of the lot. Was it pity I felt in my callous heart? Now he warms his wet and malodorous feet by my fireplace. My very own mysterious stranger. Among the many things he calls himself is an optician and an illusionist, though it is clear that he is little more than a sideshow magician. This house and I could certainly use some magic. She's just depressed. She's like, fuck it, let this weird guy into my house. What's even gonna go wrong? I've given up. Wednesday. I cannot help but believe that his journey has been a long one. Beneath the oily courtesy thumps a broken heart. This is the end of the road for him. I left my jewelry box open to test him, but it is left untouched, as I thought it would be. I know what he is looking for. I've never seen it, but I know it's here. But I will hold him to his word. He must cure me, which is an absurd notion. He claims that my eyes are dying because of lack of entertainment. That is his medical opinion. He showed me an endless series of images from his ethereotrope, few of which I could see what they represented. It was amusing, but became tedious after a while. Still, I played along. Next, he will treat me with a miracle tincture he calls vermilion tears. I suppose him failing to cure me somehow will be an empty victory. So 3 days in, we hit the tears. here on out, I'm curious because the other story became unhinged. The story from his perspective is his script. My eyes have been reborn. Everything is new again. My eyes are those of a child. I had forgotten beauty. The magician was as surprised as me. He never thought the vermilion tears would work. The cure was the most excruciating pain I have ever felt. As the drops fell in my eyes, it felt like my eyes boiled like eggs inside my skull. At the end, it felt like I was a pot of boiling red pain. But thank the eye, then. My first colleagues appeared before me in a vision. Mere apes, like me, they painted a crimson maze on the caverned wall. The very first piece of art. Their red eyes met mine in quiet understanding. An ancient conspiracy was shared. How long was I sleeping? Am I allowed to write about the maze? Am I allowed to write about the third eye? Am I allowed to write about the red beast? Words cannot do them justice anyhow. Mere apes like me drawing the first art ever on a cave wall. That's interesting. I just think about the, was it Socrates or something? I don't remember. But the thought experiment of the people that were stuck in the cave their entire life, watching shadow puppets. It evokes some of that imagery a little bit to me. Art as a replacement for life. People do a version of that nowadays. The extent to which we immerse ourselves in technology and social media and internet entertainment, and in particular, younger people that grew up during the pandemic were especially like isolated into houses where you were so frequently experiencing the world via either fictional entertainment or social media, and like in some ways you're in the cave just looking at the shadows, and that's upsetting when you get to it eventually. Like you're like, hang on a minute, no. Ooh, 7. Ooh, 2 pages ago. So long ago. 7 robes, rags, wagons, and souls. Oh, and it's This is okay. 1847. Monday was January 4th. These are both of the questions I have written down. Just kind of realized I should write down the part about my stone brother underground. So the answers are 7 and 4. January 4th was the first Monday of 1847, and the robes, rags, wagons, and souls thing answer is 7. Oops. Those are both the questions we were looking to have done. Someone's journal. We know who. Although, maybe they're being ambiguous because maybe we don't know. Maybe that's the twist. 7 journeyed in silk robes and tattered rags, in gilded wagons and on bloody souls. Sister Moon, Brother Mars, Brother Mercury, Brother Jupiter, Sister Venus, Brother Saturn, and Sister Sun. I think that's just the order from left to right that one wall has, yeah. Which makes sense because she made that art piece. Their red eyes searching for what had been lost. Cosmic words spoken by the magician as he made the shadows of his long-dead brothers come alive on the walls in an act of true magic. Once again, shadows on walls. I could see them travel in gilded wagons on the first roads built by man. I could see them walk on bloody souls through endless scorched deserts, their red eyes forever looking to the night sky in search of what had been lost to them, and forgotten by the rest of us, until now. I have lived all my life in the proximity of a cosmic beauty without ever knowing. It was right there, in my father's maze. I thought it was a simple treasure, but it was much more. Entity, God, element. The human language is much too limited to describe such a thing as the eye. My stranger, No longer a stranger. Was surprised to find it. I think he had given up on his dream. But it was here. He wept at great length afterward. His eyes are now like roses. He warns me to be cautious. Why is he so fearful? He cannot deny its power for long. His eyes are now like roses. Might be why his story gets increasingly incomprehensible from his perspective, because he kind of lost it when he encountered the cosmic horror entity. Saturday. The magician is afraid of his hat. Truthfully, he is afraid of everything. Is it because his eyes are old and tired? Or is it because he is not a true artist? I am still fond of him, but his gloomy chatter interferes with my work. Things have started to appear in my house. Objects and rooms and fantasies. Soon there will be a theater. The magician believes that we are still in the maze. He is wrong. And right. I have been there since I was a little girl. We saw me. All day we could hear the sound of ticking. The magician and I searched at length for the clock. Its hands had stopped moving, yet time passed. We have lived for years these days. Yet we are not getting older. My wrist aches terribly, but it is from the never-ending brushstrokes, not age. If I do not control myself, I paint. Art flows through my veins now. It is wonderful and terrible. Can I write about the Maze Man? I think I know what he is. Ooh, little teaser. So yeah, I've been there since I was a little girl. We saw me. So that's kind of confirmation that the little girl is her. It's Renata, as we always figured. Sunday. Eyes are meant for gathering nuts and scanning for wild beasts. Human eyes look, but do not see. Art demands vision, and artists must not be held back by eyes. Tonight I will make my ascension. I will fade into the crimson and become matter. I will not be an artist. I will not be art. I will be the raw material. I will be magic. All left of my earthly self will be a rose. We went back to Rose again. So it seems like it might genuinely be her, and that's really her body, like she did jump out the window, and it is the dead woman. They hinted at the mannequin via whatever the plaything was, but I think that those adventures were just fake to begin with. I don't know. It all ties into the visions we saw. Because the silly visions we saw sound like Renzo's story. It could be that it was Lorenzo and Renata were here in the past, and then later on was Lorelei and Renzo, two separate people later who traced elements of their stories in some ways. Because Renzo threw a fake mannequin out. But that's weird too, because that makes it feel like we came later and she came first, right? These diaries are from the 1800s. That can't be her body in the backyard for almost 200 years. The body's new, unless it is the mannequin. But maybe the mannequin's reenacting her previous death. So maybe when Nero Renzo threw out the mannequin, he was reenacting her death as performance art. It might be that both stories are true and both happened. I don't know. That one note was L and R are the same person was the indicator of that thing, but everyone's named L or R. It could be that Renzo. It could be that Renata and Lorenzo were the same person, or it could be that Renzo and Lorelei are the same person. It's messy. The answers might be clearer if you could just take all the documents and lay them all out and read them all and compare them, which, I mean, I technically have the ability to. It would just be very painstakingly and slow and messy to try to present to an audience while I'm doing so. Kind of like that time I tried to parse the language that everyone speaks in Tunic. And I was like, man, people can solve this, surely. But me trying to solve this live in a video and present it in any way, and also trying to show my thought process with documentation while I'm going, that is just extremely difficult to do as a show. It's the kind of thing that would be fun to try to pick apart for a video essay. Although I don't, my thing there is that, one, I don't know if I'd be able to accomplish it, and I don't know if it's the type of thing that I would like to spend time on, but also like, successfully interpreting the story isn't necessarily a video essay. Because, like, video essays are about having... It's more about having a take about art. Whereas, like, just successfully interpreting what's happening in the story and that's it is less engaging than having an interpretation of the more blatantly straightforward narrative. I don't know. It feels like I'm technically doing the work to solve it, but maybe in a way where I'm just solving it like the way you solve a worksheet for school, as opposed to actually doing artistic or interpretation of what the story might be saying. But there is more there. Even if you do have to work to do the baseline interpretation of the story, you probably have a text that's rich enough to do an interpretation of deeper. I don't know. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm just taking a step back because I want to distance myself from the promise of making a video about this game. So I'm like, wait, don't take that as me saying I'm about to make that video. It's probably a huge pain in the ass. Anyway, back to actually trying to solve the game. So we got the days of the week. Oh, right, I wanted to go back in the maze. I got 2 more questions answered, and I would like to go back in and use them to then get any follow-up questions I might get. Because who knows what might come next. I still keep thinking there's gonna be a transition for that. I think I usually relax for a second and kind of like blink, and then I'm just staring dumbfounded at the mirror being like, when's the scene gonna start? I pressed the button. Alright, so this is all the dead end that leads to the Minotaur and nothing else. But outside, there are more dudes that must all be completely optional. But I do want to defeat them in the Marketplace of Ideas. How many journeyed in silk robes and tattered rags on gilded wagons and on bloody souls? Risk my life, brother. 7. Correct. Right. Cross that one out. What comes next and deeper? It's $1. It's a dead end with $1. Alright, well, where are the other guys hiding? Maybe the other guy I couldn't answer leads to the other people? I was also trying to remember if there was another question I just forgot to write down. Gamble to pass or perish. What date in January was the first Monday of 1847? January 4th. Correct. We'll cross that one out. Now we're down to everything being solved again except for this Minotaur question. $1! I guess if I can't find anything else, I'll just dump what's left in the gacha thing. Okay, this guy's new. Play safe and never pass. Gamble to pass or perish. How many years did Lorenzo the Great walk on this earth? Okay. This is in the letters. I think it's the last one. Lorenzo the Great walked 49 years on this earth until under the protection of Santa Lucia. Now he must vanish. I shall be reborn a nameless vagabond. Yep, I remembered that one immediately. I thought we were going to find it at least. 49. Correct. Whoa! Oop, and then there's the last guy. He should be the last one in the entire game. If I can answer this, we're done with all the Minotaur questions except for the actual Minotaur one at the end. I think. Play safe and never pass. Gamble to pass, or perish. How many mannequins stand in the room behind the revolver door? This is the one I forgot to write down. I see this one before. But I remember what it is. It's two mannequins. The man and the woman, the artist and the magician. Correct. There we go. Yeah, at the time I suspected, yeah, I saw him from the other side before. So I've been on both sides of that guy. And that should be all of them. Let's go back to the Minotaur. When I wrote down those other two questions, I kind of quietly suspected that I might have forgotten to write somebody else's question down, because it blanked on me that I was like, oh right, I need to go back to writing them down when I don't get them. I was correct to suspect it, but I also, like, at the time didn't want to, like, spend time looking for it, because I could be wrong, and it takes a long time to wander around these samey hallways and interact with all the people that themselves have a cutscene where you can't skip the animation of him drawing his gun, so you have to wait for that part, and blah blah blah. Alright, so now I need a Greek letters code, but then I'll be done. It's fitting that it's Greek letters, given that it's the Minotaur and the Labyrinth. That is, how do you say, on point. One question to go. So we have every shortcut, and one question is like the load-bearing question. And not just because it's a Minotaur. We're all out of optional stuff, except for the question of some dollars, I guess. Did I get every dollar in the red maze? I wonder. 7 out of 8. I'm missing $1. It could be behind him. Might have just missed it somewhere. I don't care about the dollars that much. I am so close to completionism, though. I'm missing 3. That's where I messed up the most, I guess. I'm missing 1 of them in the video games, which is a little annoying because it's scattered between 3 video games. I'm missing 3 in the adventure games, the little pink point and clicks. I'm missing 1 in the red maze, 2 in the Mausoleum, which I can't go into yet, and then 2 in the entire hotel. So I'm extremely close to completionism on those, but splitting hairs over that sounds annoying. Especially since there's not really much more to do with them. I think I'll just celebrate being approximately done with the game by just dumping my remaining money into the gacha machine. It's such a weird device that it's genuinely hard to even parse what it is. Let's see. What was my new clue? Where did I write the new thing? There it is. This could be it. The signs are the signs of June 19th, September 20th, May 16th, and August 10th of those years. For me, what drives me crazy about this thing is I'm like, how do you... It's so complicated. It has 4 separate pointers for these zodiac signs or whatever. And then it has Roman numerals too, and I'm like, the fuck am I looking at? This seems insane. But maybe you solve the zodiac signs and that's it, and then you get and then maybe the Roman numerals are given to you as a code, as a reward. I'm gonna currently hope that maybe you don't interact with the Roman numerals directly, because that's the scary part. Right, Roman numerals, Latin phrases, the Greek. Oh, there's the one. That's what I needed earlier. Yep. Didn't need to Google it. It's fine though. It's the same information. These early books are all information that are just exist in real life, so Googling them or finding the correct book isn't functionally different. That's the Greek alphabet. Someone's journal. Modern astrology. The zodiacs. Okay. And years aren't relevant, but they might be. I don't know. We'll find out. June 19th is a Gemini. I'm amused by the idea that somebody out there has these memorized. September 20th is Virgo, which is like a weird M with a tail and then a second tail. Whoa, 2 tails? May 16th. It's Tauros, that's me. I'm a Tauros in April. And then August 10th is a Leo. You ever want to sound clever, the trick is that whenever somebody, especially if you want to be clever but also annoying, I guess, I don't know what the right word for it is. You have to sound like something. It's just whenever somebody ever says their fucking zodiac sign, you're like, yep, that makes sense. Just like, yep, I've been chronicling all of your character traits all this time, and yep, it all lines up with that. And like, Right, so Gemini. I'm gonna line them up just in the order that was given in the document first, but if this is wrong, then I'll do them chronologically by year, since that information is there. Go to Tauros. Where's Tauros? Up top right. And this one is Leo. I also might need to flip these around to be in the opposite order, because technically I don't know which to start from the outside to the inside as far as the rings go. Nope, we're good. First try. It's just a shelf to catch the cylinder that it awkwardly drops out. That's really heavy. Because we didn't just grab it ourselves.